Who would you spend life with in a bunker, Waz?
That's
from
easy.
the right.
That's easy. And I could tell y'all this because my girl is here. Tamar, she's right there. But you know who I would spend the bunker with?
I sense trouble.
Ann Coulter.
I said, this is the one, every time I hear black men, and this is not the only time, talk about Ann Coulter, that is the only time that I'm like, really?
Listen.
Just any blonde woman will do?
No. Listen, is she good enough for J.J. Evans? She good enough for me? Dynamite! So that's a dated reference. Some of y'all a little too young for that. Good Times. Goddamn, Florida Evans. God, what the?
It was a very important show in our history.
It was.
Waz, how did we meet each other? Tell that story, man.
I'm not afraid to tell, and I've told this story trillions of times, but I'm not afraid to tell it. I was already a fan of Majority Report, and of course, shouts to Sam Cedar, shouts to Kelly, R.I.P.
Kelly's still alive.
She not on the show anymore.
Alive and well.
But R.I.P.
Transitions.
She'll appreciate that.
So I was a fan of the show, and I remember I was watching a Michael Monday, and the funny thing that you guys will laugh at is that I used to skip the Michael Monday.
Boo.
I used to skip it.
Boo.
No, and I'm gonna tell you why. Cause I got on the show off of Sam being on Chris Hayes, and I was like, all right, on Mondays he lets his little lackey do the show. What the fuck? You know, like, I'm not gonna watch the JV show. So I said, all right, whatever. But I caught a Michael Monday, and I was like starting to catch the Michael Mondays. And then one day, Michael, relax, it's not that type of party. One day, Michael, he made an incredible joke, which has turned into an ongoing joke, which is, he did the 5% of Obama. And for somebody like me, I'm from New York, I know like actual people who abide by 5% of principles. Shouts to the Yakubs. You're welcome. Shouts to
We're
the
here.
evil scientists. But like Michael told this very pointed joke, right? Like you have to understand what 5%er is. You have to understand Obama's own politics. You have to understand why it's ridiculous to even make this joke. So I'm sitting in my crib on my laptop. I'm like, this is a fucking genius joke. Like, it's a genius joke to put these two things together in the way that he did. And, you know, me, Nando, Mike, and Anna, we had dinner last night, and I was telling them, because they asked me how I met Mike. I was like, look, I'm not the type of person when I ingest content, I'm like, yo, why don't I hit up Bruce Willis and tell him Die Hard was great? Like, I just wouldn't do that. That's not me, but I just love the joke.
That should be a documentary we do. What's up, Bruce?
Me finding Bruce Willis to tell him the wife beater in Die Hard was sick.
Finding Bruce Willis with Big Waz.
So I reached out to Mike and I was like, yo, bro, that 5% joke, that Obama 5% joke, me as a black man, as a person who understands like what 5%er-ism is, and understands that Barry's just like a Harvard centrist motherfucker. That joke is incredible because the people who we call our adversaries, that's how they think of Barry. They think he's a revolutionary. They think he's Huey Newton. They think this shit about Barry, and he's just not. And so that joke that Mike told would just touch me to my core. So I hit him up. I was like, on Twitter, I was like, yo, bro, that joke was fucking fantastic. And here's why, blah, 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 blah. And Mike was like, wow, shit, damn, motherfucker, you like one of 3 people who got it. Thank you. Let's have dinner.
That's exactly right.
And so a friendship was
a 5% joke for the 5%.
And by the way, our friendship, Mike, is Obama's America, because there's no red or blue America.
That's exactly right.
There's only a woke America.
We're the remnant of the Obama age.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like,
with the crusty remnants at the bottom.
We come across
We that shit.
Boundaries to say fucked up shit.
Yeah, we that shit that you gotta clean at the bottom of your sink after you wash your dishes. That's what we are, the Obama era.
Maybe. Remember
But at least we clean.
At least we clean. Remember what you said to me when Trump got elected? Remember your words?
Say?
You said, well, at least we had 3 more months of Barry.
What the fuck you want from me? I'm black. I got 3 more months of my one black president. Damn, let me enjoy my 3. November to January, I was like, shit about to be fucked.
Really fucked.
We got a reality star as the president. White people gonna laugh in my face till I die. But at least we got 3 more months of Barry. God damn it. Like, as a black man, I was very happy about that.
What is you were saying though, because we're gonna talk about Nipsey Hussle in a minute, but like,
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Why is it though that, like, Donald Trump is funny?
Yeah.
He's objectively funny.
To me,
in a
is,
very disgusting. Well, no, I think that's what it is. Because like I remember I talked to a guy in Seattle once, and I realized that like he just didn't have any of like the grime on him. Like he was just like, well, why would that be funny? And I was like, no, he went on stage.
No.
And he called this other dude a
Seattle,
pussy.
really?
Yeah, and that was great.
They invented farm to table, bro.
Right.
You think they're gonna understand why Donald Trump is funny?
Right, but why does like
These people jerk off with gloves on. Come on. They're not gonna understand why Donald Trump is funny. He's hilarious.
Did you see that tweet? He put a tweet. See, and he's not. All of his follow-up work to the primaries have been a real fall-off.
Yeah.
But sometimes he will show you. No, and you're going to explain, because in a second I want you to explain like how going to high school in Queens explains Donald Trump. This is important cultural strategy and insight here. But he did one 6 months ago where he put out a tweet. I guess John Kerry, I didn't even know about this, but I guess John Kerry's like, oh, I'm thinking of running for president. And stop. And Trump tweets out, he's like, I hear that John Kerry might be running for president. I should be so lucky. And then it's like, period. And then he's like, but seriously, the 2020 Democratic field is shaping up to look really good. ... For me, in all bold letters. I was like, you can't ask me to not laugh at this.
This is ridiculous. He gets it. He understands the way that you cut somebody down. Like, he gets it. It's like, you're lower than this, you're worse than this, and guess what? All of those insecurities that you might have had about yourself, they're fucking true, bro. They're fucking true. And that's what he understands. He can sense weakness, if anything. And by the way, he senses confidence. When there's people who he's like, no, I like the cut of that guy's jib, I just like him.
Well, did you see, and I mean, I'm assuming in this crowd, Kamala Harris, boom.
Easy. She's black.
She's pretty, although I will say I don't like her politics, but I get her, like I get
appeal.
What she's doing.
I get it.
And what was funny to me, because I'm not from California, no, she's the worst. We know she's the worst.
I mean,
no, whoa. You're gonna make me, don't make me be woke police.
Here's the thing.
So no, but here's what happened. No, it just speaks to your point. Because it was like an interview, and at this point, Warren and Harris were running. And he's like, and what I noticed was that they were like, so who do you think out of the gate is the strongest, right? And he's like, well, I have to say, Kamala, and they put in parentheses, pronounced Kamala. And then he's like, she had a great rally, lots of people. And then it was almost like ... like, oh shit, I don't want to talk about that. And then he's just like, but Elizabeth Warren's had a really hard time with the Pocahontas. He just like cut right, like he just
knows
like, that's
where to go.
Uncomfortable. I think that she's doing okay. I don't have a nickname for her yet. Fuck that. Elizabeth Warren.
Let's get back to this.
So what is it about Queens though that explains that?
So Donald Trump he's from originally, before they got the money, because if you're not from New York or from the outer boroughs, you don't know this, but like aspirationally, Manhattan is the North Star. It's like, I gotta get to Manhattan. That's where I go. But he's from Jamaica Estates in Queens, right? And I went to high school in Queens, middle school in Queens. Before I got to high school, shouts to St. Francis Prep. Shouts to the Terriers. There's no Terriers in here, but I shouted them anyway.
You always take care of that.
But no, so my first time ever interacting with non-black or Latin people, because in one of my middle schools we had some Puerto Ricans, which doesn't count, but whatever. So we had some Puerto Rican. No, so when I got to high school, that was my first time ever actually interacting with white people. And I got to homeroom, right?
It's just
white people. I mean, but that's what it was for me. It's like,
but not white people like Matt or David.
No, of course not. We didn't have any people from the Dakotas.
Right. For all you know, as we discussed last night, Wyoming and Dakotas could be a COINTEL operation against black people.
It could be a fucking lie.
They might not
I don't know
exist.
anybody who's been there or seen it. Matt tells me the Dakotas exist, allegedly. I'm just saying, prove it.
Allegedly.
I'm just saying.
That's very New York.
Show me some artifacts from the Dakota.
I mean, Lewis
besides
and Clark.
Matt Leck.
You need to read Meriwether Lewis's journals, Wad.
Oh, okay. I'll get right on that. And so I get to high school, homeroom, and I have what I conceive to be white people. And immediately, I'm disavowed of all of my ignorances, right? Like all of the white people, when they play the dozens or when they're making fun of each other, it's like the Italian kids are like, they're telling Polish jokes, which is like, how many Polish people does it take to turn a light bulb? It's 3 people. One to stand on the ladder, one to turn the ladder, one to whatever. Polish people are dumb in white parlance. Irish people are drunks. Italian people are kind of black. Whatever. But again, I'm learning this. As a black person where I'm like, aren't y'all all crackers? Like, I don't know. And then, later in life, I got to the Jewish portion, and I was like, holy shit! This is more screwed up than I even thought. And so Trump, he's from that lineage, right? Like, it's this idea that, of course, you're gonna separate yourself, you're gonna otherize yourself, you're gonna put yourself at the top. Like, obviously, if I'm Italian, I'm better than the Polish people. Obviously, the Irish people are dumber than me, less cultured than me. They're these nasty mix and all of that shit. Like, that's what he comes from. That's New York City, quote unquote, ethnic whites. Donald Trump is an ethnic white who always wanted to be a waspy motherfucker.
No, that's the actual, and that is why the insecurity, like that's why it's so ridiculous, because he's this.
That's why he loves the New York Times so much.
That's why he's obsessed with the New York Times. That's why even though he's a fucking trust fund baby, he still does feel aggrieved. And it's also why the really funny part, and then we'll pivot off of this, but like, there's another one I have to admit was very funny to me. And you see, and because his whole base is Southern, right? Even though he's like the quintessential New York guy. Did you guys hear his impersonation of Jeff Sessions at CPAC?
No. He did a Southern accent?
Yo. No, it wasn't just a Southern accent. It was an accent that I would have been like, all right, maybe this. He goes, and then Jeff Sessions, he goes, I'm gonna recuse myself. He straight up did. I'm gonna recuse myself.
Yeah, he's not Lion Ted, he's Bumpkin Jim. My bad, I'm dissing the South, I shouldn't do that.
No, but
why not?
But like,
I don't know.
I remember during the 2016 campaign, because he really wants to be a WASP, and he feels very aggrieved because of it. I remember him talking about something, Mar-a-Lago, if people don't know. These country clubs in the South are really terrible, and they don't let Irish in, they don't let Jewish people in. And he made a big deal about how he's like, I let everybody into my clubs. you know, and he's and like everybody was
Michael
watching,
Jackson
and there
was
was
in my
no
club.
reaction because nobody understands that except for Donald Trump.
Right.
I was very progressive.
Right.
Yeah. I bet I shook Magic Johnson's hand.
Seriously.
LA reference.
You've just watched a Michael Brooks show video, and you can watch all of our full main live shows every Tuesday night at around 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and subscribe to get all of the clips you want. We're covering the globe. We're focusing on international relations, the intellectual dark web. We're having fun. We're doing deep dives with a lot of amazing guests. Of course, become a patron for the whole thing at patreon.com/TMBS, or subscribe to this YouTube channel and help us keep growing and get that content out there. Subscribe below.